Hi everybody, it's Anbara and welcome to my channel. Do make sure that you're subscribed and also do like the video. So listen, you guys, okay? Listen. We need to catch up. We need to catch up with what's happening in South Africa, okay? I hadn't really done like a serious video when it comes to the Kunene situation. We had to laugh at ourselves a little bit, okay? Because if you live in South Africa, in order to survive, you kind of have to have sense of humor. If you don't have it, you will just die from the fact that you live in South Africa. Okay. So now, you guys, the Daily Maverick is writing about this situation with Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie. It's an interesting situation because I personally had hoped that the story of Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie, the guys that went to prison and they were rehabilitated and now they were legit businessmen that had turned to politicians. What a success story, you know? But this is South Africa. We don't have stories like that. We don't have them, okay? So now, you guys, you all know that when the police went to arrest the person that was suspected of ordering a hit on DJ somebody, you know, Kenny Kunene was found at the house. After the arrest, he wasn't arrested himself. After the arrest, he did a series of interviews. I was rolling on the floor watching those interviews, and I was like, you know what? He should have taken a note from Mr. Mchunu. Remember saying to Mchunu after the media briefing, Mkonazi, he was like, listen, you guys, listen. I haven't had time to watch the interview, okay? I haven't had time to watch the media briefing. And once I watch it, then I'm going to apply my mind. And then, I think he should have done the same. He should have gone home and be like, guys, listen, I haven't seen the police arrest this guy, okay? Once I remember, okay, I will apply my mind. But he didn't do that. He immediately went and did a series of interviews, which I think was a mistake because he's like contradicting himself in those interviews. So now, you guys, you know that I like to read articles. So the Daily Maverick is writing about this whole thing of Kenny Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie being rehabilitated criminals that have joined our politics, that are part of our government now, basically. Okay. What does that mean for South Africa? So it says here, you guys, can you and the growing gangsterization of our politics. This is a story written by Stephen Protes. Okay. The discovery of Johannesburg Councillor and Deputy Patriotic Alliance leader Kenny Nene in the company of a person wanted for paying for DJ somebody to be caged is a symbol of our time. It demonstrates the growing criminalization, or some might call it the gangsterization of our politics. This has the potential to completely destabilize our politics, never mind all of the other consequences for our economy and our country. The fact that Kenny Kunene was found with Katiso Katie Mulefe, who is accused of being a mastermind behind the hit of DJ Somebody, whose real name is Opa Johnson Foka, may well have surprised very few people. While Kunene claims that he has mended his ways since serving his time in jail, his behavior has shown in the past that he still has links to the community. It is true that people voted for the Patriotic Alliance knowing the history of both Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie. None of what they have done was a secret, but it was a sign that the PA has ambitions of becoming more mainstream, that Mackenzie has now suspended Kunene from all politics for a month, just 1 month. That's 1 month. That said, Mackenzie's public proclamation that we already know that he is innocent may well cast doubt in the real integrity of the investigation he is now going to institute. Okay, because the 1 month that he is suspended for Kenny Kunene, I believe that they're supposed to do the investigation and see if he did anything wrong. So now, if the person that is saying they are going to investigate is saying, I already know that he's innocent, so why are you investigating, sir? Why are you even suspending him if you are saying that you know that he's innocent? So how are you going to be? Why are you even investigating? Because you know he's innocent. Like, it doesn't make sense. Of course, both men have long history of dirty politics. The two were suspected of being behind the publishing of a claim in a Sunday Independent that President Cyril Ramaphosa had had an affair in 2017 during the run-up of the ANC's Nasdaq conference. Certainly from the vantage point of the writer at the time, they were acting against Ramaphosa. This was probably explained by the fact that Mackenzie and Kunene had been selected presumably by President Jacob Zuma as PEE partners for the 5 billion gas and oil deal in Russia. So close was the relationship with Zuma at the time that they appeared close to being able to appoint their councillor, Leanne Williams, as National Police Commissioner. In a subsequent radio interview, Williams confirmed that she had gone through the process of being vetted despite having no previous experience in policing. Of course, considering Zuma's relationship with the Guptas and his enablement of their theft from us, it is pretty obvious that they would have had the same interest. Okay. They claim by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Unhlanhla Mkhwanazi that the former police minister Senzo Mchunu was involved with criminals are just the latest manifestation of this. The history of this is long and sordid, including Jackie Silebi's conviction for taking money from Glenn Agliotti and Shabil Sheikh conviction for paying bribes to Zuma in 2005. The other big shift is that people are entering politics having become part of the criminal network first. Okay, now it does complicate things because if you meet, your former, what do you do? Uphakamisa inamba noma you're like, yekani lento eniyenzayo. You understand? Which position do you take when you see your former? Yeah, but the history of this is long and solid, including okay, that I've read. The other big shift is that people are entering into politics having become part of a criminal network first. In Johannesburg, the NC chief whip Thembiso Zungu is accused of leading what is essentially a construction mafia. Firstly, the parties like ANC are weaker than they've ever been and are easier to join. And for various reasons, it is now easier to rise to certain positions, partly because there is less competition, and partly because this involves internal campaigning and thus money. Of course, it is also possible to start your own party and actually have an influence in the metro like Johannesburg, where even parties have just one seat, or Mangaung, where the ANC has been able to discipline its members. But what may really be enabling is the fact that those in the national government, right at the top, are lacking the legitimacy to really stop this from happening. Ramaphosa was happy to include the PA in the coalition from important political reasons. This is despite knowing their history and the fact that Kunene was probably instrumental in revealing excruciating, embarrassing details about his personal life. Our president is very forgiving. Okay, I was like, listen, let's forget about the affair that you once spoke about. Okay, come here, let's work together. It's our country, guys, okay? Unfortunately, Ramaphosa himself is accused of breaking the law, while the South African Police Service, the public prosecutor, and the South African Reserve Bank have all magically cleared him of all wrongdoing over Phala Phala. The stench still lingers. And what can be more gangster than storing cash in a sofa and appearing to forget about it? Like, what? You find what? 20,000 in my couch? That would be me. It wasn't 20,000. But for me, it would be 20,000. I'd be like, what? You found 20 grand under my couch? I don't even remember. The impact of all this on our society is fundamental and profound. Business cannot operate and they cannot know how to protect their workers and assets in the face of a criminal state. Outsurance is a recent example of this. It emerged last month that a claim is paid out on a car after a reported accident was actually fraudulent. Okay, the company that had paid the insurance premiums turned out to be the front for a SANDF Special Forces unit. The unit is accused of carrying Hawks investigator Franz Matipa using the car in the hit. They are then accused of deliberately destroying it. How can Outsurance conduct its business not knowing if a company it has signed a contract with is not actually an arm of a state that is killing the people? For voters, the damage is even worse. If there is no trust in politicians, then there can be no trust in criminal justice system they oversee. But worse, if people are now entering politics to extend their criminal empires, the entire democratic project gets undermined. This will encourage and enable the rise of people who will promise to use violence against crime. Groups involving criminals will do this too, claiming to be speaking for their communities. The PA has arguably done this already, campaigning to reinstate the death penalty for crimes like M, and of course, they do not foresee a situation where one of their own could be accused of theft and corruption. In the end, the competition will be for who can be seen as the toughest, the most violent against crime. That then sows the seed of some kind of strongman politics where people will make the most extreme promises. In the meantime, the social ties and rules that are supposed to ensure some kind of fairness will simply break down. It will be a rule by strong, where the weak will have no option but to either cower or use violence themselves. Kunene is by no means the only politicians connected to criminality. The incident is merely the latest expression of it. But our society appears to be heading in a very dangerous direction, and we are moving there very, very quickly indeed. Okay? Listen, you guys. Whoever wrote this article, I want to read more of his article because he is speaking very nice language, because he is speaking the language of truth. Because sometimes we do want to hear the truth, because sometimes we live in the Delulu land, okay? The Delulu land that makes us think that two criminals, okay, no, not the criminal, two people that used to be criminals can be friends in prison as criminals and both equally decide to rehabilitate from the criminal life and then come out of prison, and both of them with like minds decide that they are now going to be legit business people that do not commit crime, and they also both of them decide to start a political party, and if one does wrong, the other has to discipline the other. Those two friends, okay? And then those, we are living in the Delulu land, okay? But sometimes that's how you survive South Africa. You just have to be delusional and be like, Ubab Kenny, akasesona isigebengu, Ubab Gayton, akasesona isigebengu. That's how we are surviving our country. But Stephen Crutes, I want to see more of his articles because he's speaking my language. Okay. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It sounds like, while some of us might have believed that Kunene and Gayton Mackenzie are rehabilitated, people did not believe it. Okay. South Africa. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegana. Tell me what you think about this whole story that I just read for you. Bengafundi inganekwane phela. Anyway, thank you so much. Nginithanda kakhulu.